but that's the only thing I play. I wish I played piano or drums or the didgeridoo, but I only play the ukulele, so that's what I'm gonna do. And this is a little theme song for the Happiness Anonymous Share Show.
Hello everyone, we are here in the kitchen. Welcome to the Happiness Anonymous Share Show. It is a Thursday, so it is a doing day. And this doing is going to be all about baking. I've had a bit of a long month, and so usually when I want to wind down, but actually still do something and reward myself afterwards and treat myself afterwards, I bake. And I bake brownies, and I've been doing it since I was 16, and I'm not going to tell you how long ago that was. And so I have a quick recipe that's super fun, super easy to make, and anyone can make it. And I usually just do it by mugs and cups. So how are you today? How are you checking in? I'm checking in, excited for some brownie. Throw into the comment section. This is a pre-disclaimer that this is pre-recorded. I realized my hands are probably going to get covered in stuff. So I am actually live in the comment section now to answer any questions. So if you're baking along with me, past Gem, present Gem will be able to help you with any queries that past Gem, me, my present Gem, is answering. Welcome to Chaos Baking. So if anybody didn't catch the video I posted earlier, all you need is a spoon, normal spoon, a cup, one of those classic coffee cups that you get, a bowl, which I didn't put in that video, something to bake it in, whether that's a tin or some brownie, cupcake things. You can tell how many times I don't make cupcakes, I make brownies. Then, self-raising flour, or if you don't have self-raising flour, normal flour is fine, just add, I think it's, Google it, per something, it's a teaspoon. Just a little bit of baking powder, and you're fine. Sugar, white sugar or caster sugar, it's all fine. Sugar's fine. Cocoa powder. If you want dark chocolate brownies, what we're doing is we're aiming for gooey, which also makes it easy. So you can use drinking chocolate or just normal cocoa powder as well. Then some oil. I use veggie oil because it's easier. You can also use butter. And you just got to melt that down in the microwave. All easy peasy, yes. If you've got it, vanilla extract, right? You don't have to have it, but apparently it helps. I always just have some in the cupboard, so some vanilla extract. Then brownies are chocolate, and you need chocolate to make chocolate brownies. It doesn't have to be something like this, which is baking chocolate. You can also just use any chocolate that you find in the cupboard. It's all the same. It's all chocolate. It's fine. I'll walk you through how to melt it down properly in a second. Then eggs, or if you're a vegan, you can either use milk if you don't have eggs. But if you're vegan, I forgot to mention in the video earlier, not normal milk for vegan, but like oat milk or something like that. Essentially something wet, but also with substance, so not just water. Yeah, milk. I've got a little bit of milk. And then anything like cherries or raspberries or walnut nuts. I said walnuts in the video and then went, I hope there's walnuts in this house, and there are. So those are all of our ingredients. We also live in the middle of a pandemic, so wash your mitts are pretty simple. Then we get baking. The first thing that you need to do, is turn your oven on. I'm working on top of my oven because nice. Technically my parents' oven before my dad. Hi Dad watches this and goes, but that's my kitchen, because my kitchen is tiny, and this is nice and it was free, so why not? Whack the oven on. You want to put it at about 180. Fan is pretty much the same. I've always just whacked everything onto 180. If you are a baker, throw things into the comment section and teach me if I'm doing wrong. But so far I haven't killed myself, anybody else, or had a bad time. And this is just all about fun. But a lot of people say that baking's super hard, and we look at Bake Off and think, oh, and certain things are difficult. I'm going with brownie because cake is the source of happiness, but it's also takes a little bit more effort and concentration to make it work. Though some people argue with me on that. Some baking is hard, some baking is easy. But it's all basically, once you get used to doing it, it can be very, very quick. And I'm going to do this in under an hour. So we're 5 minutes, 39 seconds down. And this is all going to be done in under an hour. So for sticky, gooey brownies, what we're going to do, grab your flour. If it's self-raising flour, awesome. If it's plain flour, what I would do is I'm going to take my cup and I'm going to put in into here, into your bowl. Got 1 cup, right? Yes, 1 cup. I'm making it up as I go along because this is how easy baking is. I might put a little bit in later. But 1 cup, and you essentially want, right, change that. I've got enough cocoa powder to do 1.5 cups. You want essentially a half split to, and a half cup is literally eyeballed to, a half a cup. Add that in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, perfect. That is just about 3/4, which comes to roughly half the amount. So of cocoa powder to flour, you want about half of that. You can always put in more, it just makes it more chocolatey. Take your spoon, or I've got a fork at the ready. Just mix that in. Put it all together. It's not rocket science. Though I suppose it could be. Mixy. Then sugar. Now, the big thing with sugar is that sugar is the thing that burns fastest. So it's always a balance between your sugar. So if it's like large crystals of sugar, you want to put in slightly less, but preferably go for something like caster sugar or white sugar that is that's a little sweeter, but it's ground finer, so it will melt easier. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put half a cup in. Well, just over half a cup because it's me. I bake with a heavy hand, which is always great when I do my boozy brownies. Mix that in. Now, can you, or do you have to sieve anything? Like sieve your flour? You can. My brother does all the time. I don't. All it does is just makes sure that if it's lumpy, so if your flour sits for a while or is in like a dampened environment and it can clump together, sieving will just help get rid of those lumps. So yeah, I only ever sieve if I'm like, oh gosh. Now, you want to shove. If you've got vanilla thingy-majiggy, vanilla extract, grab a teaspoon. I know I'm adding things to the list of prep that you didn't need. And you just want a teaspoon of that. All right? Then, what I'm going to do is, usually I try and make it quite wet, but this is why I've got oil and or butter. So if you've got your butter, add that in. You want to be putting in kind of like half a cup of butter or oil. Eyeball it. It's fine. Okay. Or, as I've done, enough so that I've still got some to make dinner. Because for me, it's just about, at this point, getting the flavor right, so getting it super chocolatey, but then with all of these wet ingredients, just making those powders that have flushed up into my face, so now I'm about to sneeze. And you're just trying to make this mixture wet enough. So this oil's not going to do it. So I'm actually not going to use the eggs. I'm going to use the milk. You can use either. Right? I'd say for this, if you want to use eggs, 2, right? And then check the consistency. Me, I'm going to go for half a cup of milk at first. Now, what milk and eggs do, especially in cakes, is they bind everything together. So, but for me, it's just a case of getting it to the right consistency. So you're just going to mix it all in. You can use a whisk. Not all of us have a whisk. I have a whisk somewhere, but in the spirit of making it accessible. How is everybody tonight as we mix in? So, now, I'm going to try and do this. I tried setting up, like with the art show the other week, I tried setting up a hand-arm thing, but it kept giving me a feedback loop. And no idea why. Now, see this? This is kind of, yeah, it's too dry for me. And there's still lots of lumps of flour and cocoa powder. So I'm actually going to, because I want it quite wet, with not a heavy hand, put in an extra half cup of milk. If you've put the eggs in and gone the egg route, then, and your dough is looking like dough rather than batter, either add in another egg, unless it's large eggs, or throw in some milk, or throw in some more oil. Something wet like that, right? So you don't want it too wet, because we have forgotten one of the key ingredients. So you want to add chocolate to this. Now, yes. So this, as you can see, is very, very puffy. I'd say this is probably too wet. The milk is so skimmed, it's basically water. That's fine. Now, before we do much more to just pull it back to its right consistency, you want to add your chocolate. Now, what you can do is, if you have a chocolate melter, which is a pot that you fill with water, and then a smaller pot that fits inside it and melts it down, do that. I have one of those at home. I don't have one of those here. If you want to shove it in the microwave, go right ahead and do that. Just be aware that, so normal chocolate, milk chocolate's got a lot more sugar in it, so it's going to burn easier. So you want to go at like 3-second intervals and then just keep mixing it and keep mixing it. Top tip, grab a tiniest bit of butter and shove it in there, because then the butter melts faster, brings up the whole temperature, and gives it that kind of consistency as well. Dark chocolate melts a little slower, but still go for about 4 or 5 seconds at most that's in there. Or you can do, because I know that at home I don't have a microwave, because that's how small my kitchen is. So what I'm going to do, and because in the air of time, I'm just going to take the chocolate, and it's about 100 grams, all right? You can do that by looking at the thing. I'm just going to shove it in there, all right? I'm just going to shove it in there. I'm going to mix that up. So, by all means, pause me. I know I'm going quite fast. For baking, I remember when I was 16 years old, I discovered the true love of baking. So, before I continue with that story, a little bit runny, right? Sometimes the chocolate can help that. Now, what I'm going to do is, instead of using the cup, because sometimes measures are actually, they don't allow as much freedom, find the metaphor in that, but you will. I'm just going to add a tiny little bit, right? So, that is the flour, and you can see it's just a tiny bit, and you're going to add bit by bit, and just keep mixing it in. And what you want is kind of between what we have now and what we had before. All right? If I find a good set of words to explain it, I'll throw it into the comment section. A little bit more for me. You want it to be gooey. That's the best way I can think of now to explain it, is that you don't want it cakey, you don't want it doughy, right? You want it, and you don't want it running, you want it gooey. Something that makes you kind of, it doesn't hold its shape, but it makes you want to just grab handfuls of it and eat it. Kind of like when you were a kid and you made mud pies, and that perfect consistency for it to like splat down, hold its shape, and then slowly ooze out. A parent's nightmare. That's what you're going for. You're wanting the consistency of a parent's nightmare. I think that will probably do. And the reason I go sticky and gooey is that moisture means that it won't dry out, and that moisture will mean it stays very, very gooey in the middle. And if you're using eggs, it means you don't have to kind of underbake too much. That's the success to some gooey brownie, is kind of underbaking it. But I'm aware that like with eggs, that's a little bit nerve-wracking. Shouldn't be. Right. Gooey. Right? It looks amazing. When it swirls up, right, it kind of breaks a little bit, but it's like, it'll splat. That's what it'll do, is it'll splat. That's perfect. Right. Now, by making it chocolatey, where I'm just put the chocolate bits in, that means that there will be little bursts of chocolate. It'll be pure chocolate, rather than an overall really cakey cake. If you want like super triple chocolate brownie, do a mixture of all. Melt the chocolate, but then also grab some more and shove it in there. Now, because I'm going for crunchy brownie, I'm going to grab some walnuts. Well, I'll try before they won't let me into the bag. I'm baking without supervision. All right. Now, these are half walnuts coming out of too small a hole that I've cut. And frankly, put in as many as you want. Like, recipes turn around and say, oh, put half a cup in. If you like walnuts, shove them all in there. If you don't like walnuts, don't put any in there. Right. Find something to smash them up with, or grab a knife and just cut them up. Because I've got half walnuts, so these won't be very pleasant just on there much. You don't have to cut them up with any kind of precision. It's literally just smushing. You can even do it with your hands, frankly. I've put cherries in brownies. I've put popping candy in brownies. You can do like mixed fruits, like dried fruits and stuff, candied fruits. What else have I seen? I've seen loads. And you can also, if you don't have vanilla extract, but you do have like orange flavoring or lemon flavoring, I've done that too. Can't say the acidic of lemon is great, but orange brownie, chocolate orange. Right. So, oh gosh, lots and lots and lots of walnuts. Baking's fun. There's a reason we do it with kids. My mom would always bake with me, and we'd always make these things called butter biscuits. They were white, they were buttery, they were amazing, and I loved them. Now, throwing. Mix it in. This is sap, whilst I've been chopping the walnuts. and it's gotten really nice and gooey. Right. Stay under the light. Nice walnutty, chocolatey, gooey loveliness. So, and because you've only used the cup and a spoon, this is the washing up. If you have any small people in your life, children, this is really fun to do with them because it's super, super easy. And it is just cups. It's not weighing. You don't have to get bogged down by the weighing of things. So mixture goes over to the side. I'll grab your tin. I might need a second one. Now, this is a cake tin. You don't have to use cake tin. It's just the only tin I could find. Usually I use like a square tin or something like that. And as we're hitting 21 minutes with a 5-minute introduction, all we're going to do is we're going to take some oil. Right, you can use butter or you can use that spray stuff. Just going to put a tiny amount in, right? And this is just greasing the pan. You can also, if you've got baking paper, you can shove that in there. So I'm going to just quickly wash my mitts. And dry my mitts. This is why you have small children, to do this. You just want to slather it up. I thought that the OnlyFans thing that I did for this was going to be the dancing on the internet. Alright. Nicey, nicey, nice. Cool. Right. Nah. I realized I said this was a bake-along and I've gone like at super speed. So anybody who's keeping up with me, amazing, amazing, amazing. What I've done in the comment section is as we've gone along, I've typed up the method for everybody. So, greased pan, bowl of glory. This you can also just eat raw if you haven't added the eggs, or if you have added the eggs and you want to get food poisoning. Now, shove it in there. Oh, no, it's heavy. Use nothing but a spoon. All you gotta do is you gotta shove it in there. Right. Now, I am somebody who hates food waste. Absolutely hate it. My dad laughs because he'll see me order jam and toast at some place, and then if I don't use the jam, I'll pocket it because I'll use it later, and he laughs because apparently that's exactly what my great grandfather used to do. But what I am gonna do, you don't have to do this. I'm doing it because I can. The spatula. This is my favorite kitchen utensil in the whole wide world. Throw in the comment section what your favorite kitchen utensil is, because this just scrapes everything up so easily, and it means that there is very little food waste, very little hard effort-made brownie left. Or my dad hates this, must hate this, because every time I bake and he's around, he gets the remnants, and so he hates this because that means there's not many remnants. But I still, to this day, if anybody's around, then I give the cake back mixture, so long as it's safe to eat, to anybody to just enjoy. And yes. So, get all of this going. Yeah, when I was 16, I'd had a cat since I was 2. When I was 16, he passed away. And I was so distraught. I went home and commandeered the kitchen. And I was just sort of following my fun, really. Didn't know the phrase then, but I was. And I was following what I needed to do. And I ended up baking. And I discovered baking brownies. And the brownie recipe that I would become famous for amongst friend and family circles that is now adapted into my boozy brownie. But I also made a cake, scones, the brownie, everything. I just page by page worked my way through a cookbook, turned up the next day at school, kind of going, anybody and everybody just eat this stuff. Cool. But so these are the Zoo's brownies. Right. I love the way. Put all of that in there. Put it all in my mouth. Haven't flattened it down in the tin. So right now, it's all kind of, because it's quite sticky and a little bit holds its shape. It's holding its shape. What you want to do is just take either the spatula or the back of your spoon and just push it down, spread it out in that tin. So then it can just go all the way. All right. Yeah, I'm keeping that. Okay. Brownie. Done. Now. Figured out something different about this oven. It's got a grate. And this has something that's catching onto it. Bear with me. We are problem solvers. Right, into the oven, middle of the oven. The middle, top, and bottom of the oven does kind of matter because heat rises and stuff. So middle of the oven tends to get a nice even bake. Right, and shove it in there for about 20 minutes, half an hour. I always just follow my nose, and you can start to, if you bake a lot and do this a lot, you start to go, ooh, I know when it's done. If you're starting to smell burning, and then one of the tricks to see if it's cooked, if you're doing any kind of cakes or anything, grab a fork or a knife or something pointy, a knitting needle. And when you pull the cake out, dip that into the big pot, right? And pull it out. If something comes out with it, like goo or bits, it's not cooked yet. If it comes out clean, cooked, pull it out, right? Brownies are slightly different. If you smell burning, and you pull it out and you shake it and it's still really wobbly, your oven's on too high, turn it down. Okay? These brownies have a lot of sugar in them, so they'll burn relatively easy, which is why we keep it at 180, between 180 and 150. But 20 minutes, half an hour, let's try and set a timer, because then that'll start beeping at me for when I inevitably get distracted. I'm putting it on for 25 minutes. And what you want it to do is come out looking like a perfect brownie. The edges will be cooked. The insides will be, it won't wobble when you shove it. And it could be quite gooey when you still pull things out, when you stick it and do that test. And then you have brownie and it'll work. This is all in under half an hour. I'm 3 seconds, I'm 20 seconds away from the half hour mark. And that is how easy baking can be. Because then you just go and sit and read a book and enjoy your time. And I think that's quite important to do and facilitate. I'm always somebody who looks, when I cook and when I bake, I look for ways to use leftovers and never have food waste, to make it as quick and easy as possible and make it simple as well. I always look for flavor. I always it's flavor. I look for it to be flavorful and cooked, which I know that one of my dear friends who's also a baker and an artist makes it always look amazing. So as I always say, she makes things look amazing and deserves to be on Bake Off. I make food and especially my baking look like it is going to do what it's going to do to you. But yes, back to that story from earlier, if anybody is interested and still baking and catching up. I was 16 and discovered baking that way and turned a very, very torturous incident in my life into something that gives a lot of people joy, that I still have people from across the country going, yeah, you can crash on my couch if you bring your brownies. Anytime I bake these brownies, I remember all of the good times that I had with this companion that I had, this animal that I had as a companion growing up. I love baking because of it. And I do it often, but baking and mainly eating the baking after, because what is better than creating something that you can eat afterwards? That's very much my opinion. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I will post photos of the brownies when they come out. If your brownies are taking a little bit longer, that's fine. Try not to whack the heat up. Just give them an extra 10-15 minutes. They shouldn't take more than 45 minutes. Otherwise, I'd check your oven is hot enough. And these are served great with cream and ice cream or just on their own. And they're super, super easy to make. If you have used the eggs, usually check the temperature. Google for the correct way. I'm not going to say anything and then be sued by someone later. But check the temperature. And also just go for sort of the not as sticky on the inside side of things. That's what I tend to do. And use eggs from a reputable source. But yes, brownies can be super vegan very, very easily. These ones aren't. They're just vegetarian because I have used milk and I have used chocolate that isn't vegan chocolate. But they can be vegan very, very easily. What do you do for relaxing and creating something? What do you do that's something that gives you a lot of joy and gives a lot of people joy as well? And also maybe think about, you don't have to share it, think about something that you might have turned in from a horrible situation into quite a lovely situation. Because we do, just with the pan incident and the pan not going into the oven properly and just getting hooked on something, we have the full control to control how we react to a situation. And I always remember that. So that's maybe the metaphor for the baking and how that ties into the Happiness Anonymous share show, other than me just sharing something that I do. Baking is my therapy. Cooking is my therapy. I enjoy it. I love it. It is connected to memories of my childhood, baking and helping my mom bake. It is connected to beautiful, amazing memories as a teenager and all through my life. And brownie. So I hope you guys are well. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope everybody's brownies are in the oven. And I will post photos as soon as this is done. And I'm very excited for it. Tomorrow's show, I'm so excited for tomorrow's show. It is the final proper share show. Tomorrow's show is going to be a load of amazing shares. I've got dances, more poetry, some stuff that people are getting me to read out, and stuff that people have sent me that they've taken the challenge to read out themselves as well, because it's all about pushing yourself. And that's going to be a glorious, glorious show. Saturday, we'll do another takeover. And then Sunday, we have a final wrap-up show that I'm very excited for. And yeah, all about caring for ourselves. I hope you're well. I hope you've had an amazing week. Thank you, anybody who joined, for the amazing conversation I had with Ross yesterday. And yeah, I'm also donating. Donate to wherever you want to donate to. That's what this week is all about. Is instead of me selecting a charity for everybody to donate to, if they enjoy the show, go and donate or do a random act of kindness, something that you enjoy, you can get behind, you are driven by it, and is your cause. It's all up to you. And in the meantime, there you go. Right hand, slightly wrong angle. The PPH Free Fringe is still on. It is on until the 29th. I'm playing right to the very deadline of it. And it has some amazing, amazing shows. A lot of them are on demand. Go to freefringe.org.uk to check some of them out, and throw into the comment section as well, or message or pigeon your favorite shows as well. But thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoy your brownie. If you haven't, if you've decided, I'm going to bake with you, but I'm not going to bake brownie. What have you baked? Tell us, show us. Let's have a bake off of our own. But yes, I have got, I've got flour everywhere. So I'm going to go clean up, and I will see you soon. See you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. This has been the Happiness Anonymous Share Show. I realized I didn't say my name at the top, which is Jem. And I will see you tomorrow in tomorrow's episode. Happy Eating Brownie Day.